Welcome to the Business Chaser, your quick pour of strategy, clarity, and momentum. We skip the small talk and get straight to the strategy here in these bite-sized episodes. We're here to help you grow smarter, market better, and chase what matters, all in 15 minutes or less. I'm your host, Lauren Najar. Tune in and let's chat.
Welcome back to the Business Chaser. My name is Stephanie Ross, and I'm so excited to share with you today a concept that I have coined myself and taught and practiced within my own life and businesses, and that is called intentional entrepreneurship. So what is intentional entrepreneurship? Sounds really simple, but it really is being super focused on building a business that is profitable, scalable, sustainable, and allows you the freedom to ultimately enjoy the lifestyle that you desire. So many of us start businesses and realize that we've actually just chained ourselves to a 24/7 job. And I did that for the first 10 years of my entrepreneurial journey and decided no more. So I figured out, how can I get the most juice for the squeeze with my weeks, get the most needle-moving tasks done, and it comes through systems, focus, and support. So I'm going to share with you what I do every week and every day to be the most productive, focused, and efficient self so that I can actually enjoy the freedom of my lifestyle, which allows me to run multiple businesses, write a book, launch a book, guest speak, be on podcasts, do all of these different things, wear these many roles, as well as being a wife and a mom and a friend and all of those things. So what I do every single Sunday is I fill out a form called the 4-part to-do list. Now, I have to give credit where credit is due. My friend Ashley Alderson from the Boutique Hub created this originally, and I have just taken it and used it in my own world. So the 4-part to-do list, which I'm really going to focus on the first 3 parts, is writing on a piece of paper, what are my reoccurring tasks that I need to do this week that essentially happen every single week. For me, that's social media content creation and kind of pre-planning things out. So I only do that once a week. Emails, so email marketing for my businesses. It is typically writing notes and doing calls. And that is most of my recurring tasks that I do every single week, or like client check-ins. Then in the next quadrant, I focus on what are my 3 big tasks or projects or things that I need to check off this week. 3 things. Sometimes they're all 3 different businesses, my real estate business, my sister circle community, and my book or speaking. Sometimes they are from all in one business. It really just depends on the week, right? And that's where entrepreneurship has so much variability and flexibility, which is why we have to create the systems and structures in order to be efficient in the work that we're doing. So those 3 big tasks are typically project-based or maybe event-based or transaction-based that have to get done that week. That's the second quadrant. The third quadrant is what's upcoming. And this is just solely for the mom brain that I will forget if I don't see it coming up in the weeks, right? So the what's upcoming is what are projects and things that I do not need to focus on or worry about right now, but I do need to keep them on my radar for next week or the coming weeks. So those are the 3 parts of the 4-part to-do list that I primarily focus on every Sunday. The 4th part is delegation, and I'm going to talk about that in just a little bit. So that is what I do every Sunday. So I know my reoccurring tasks that have to happen. I know those are coming every single week. I know my 3 big tasks for this week that are specific to the projects or the timelines or the events and transactions I'm working on. And then I am aware of what is upcoming so that things do not slip through the cracks. That's my weekly focus. Then every single day, I start my day with something I created called my Soulpreneur Check-In. This is a mixture of gratitude, affirmations, and my big 3 priorities for that day. Notice I like to use the number 3. we can't usually tackle more than 3 big tasks a week or 3 big tasks a day. So I start my check-in with I am statements, things that I want to focus on showing up as. So for this one in particular, I wrote, I am a keynote speaker. I am a present mom. That's something that I write every single day. And I am confident. So how I want to show up. Then it's my big 3 priorities for that day. So those 3 priorities are typically going to come from my big 3 weekly priorities. We're breaking them down into daily tasks and actions. Then I have a little don't forget box. That's where you can add the quick little errand you need to run or that email that you need to shoot over to someone, but that's not a big task for the week. And then I have gratitude. I write down 3 amazing things that have happened lately, 3 amazing goals that my future self has achieved, and 3 amazing things that are about to happen. And I will tell you from doing this every single day that I have manifested some incredible things in my life just from writing them on my daily Soulpreneur Check-In. So I can share a PDF version of that with you if you'd like. It's also in my book resources, but that is my daily intentional focus that I fill out that every single morning before I even dig into my day or check my email. Something else that has really helped me over the years fine-tune my calendar is what I call designated days. I do not do random activities throughout the day. I have whole days that are designated for work, whole days that are designated for meetings, whole days that are designated for even just free, like play or creating content, something that's a little bit more like creative, because all of these require different mindsets or mental space to be in. For example, Mondays are my kind of like get stuff done day. I do not plan anything on Mondays unless it allows me to just be on my computer, maybe having a Zoom meeting, but even that's a stretch. So Mondays, I do my content creation and I do my weekly bookkeeping and check in on my finances. And then maybe I'll get something else done, but it has to be something that I can do from my office, typically on my computer, because I am not going anywhere on Mondays. Tuesdays are my meeting days. So I try to schedule any meeting, whether it's in person or on Zoom. I have my monthly sister circle, Coffee and Connections on Tuesdays. Those are my meeting days. I can show up, I can get dressed up, and I can go present myself to the world and be in that energy of conversating. Mondays, I don't want to do that. I want to get stuff done. Tuesdays, I'm going out into the world and I'm meeting with people. Wednesdays are actually specifically focused on my real estate business because I go into the office that day and I do any tasks that are specific to my transactions. Sending an email, sending an amendment, sending a note, getting a closing gift. I try to schedule my closings on Wednesdays because then I am in the headspace of real estate. If you're a multi-business owner, you might find that you actually work better by separating your business into different days. Now, that's not always possible, right? And there are days where I do showings any day of the week sometimes, but if I can try my very best to coordinate meetings and different tasks on a specific day, that just works for my brain. So you got to find what fits for you. But then designated days, Thursday, I really don't plan anything on Thursdays because it's kind of my catch-up day. I really try to take Fridays off to be with my son. He's a baby and I'm trying to soak up all this time with him. So if I want Friday to be fully checked out, then Thursday I need to make sure I have space to finish up on those 3 big tasks that maybe I haven't completed yet for the week. So that is how I structure those 4 work days. Or if you want to add in Friday or Saturday, however your week is structured for you, have those designated days and try to stick with them. You can even do this by blocking them on your calendar. If you're a big Google Calendar user like me, I color code and I block off different days and hours for certain tasks. And that forces me to get those things done in those time blocked. Maybe that doesn't feel good to look at your calendar and see it all filled. That's okay too, as long as you know in your brain, this is the day that I work on this business or I do these types of tasks. We want to batch tasks together so that our brain isn't going from one task to the next task to the next task. Even podcast recording, I'll usually try to do them on Tuesdays because it's kind of like sitting down for a meeting with someone else. So think about what kind of energy the tasks and the projects that you're doing, either reoccurring or for the week, require, and structure your week around that. And then you delegate the rest, because we can't do it all. When anyone asks me, how do you do it all? I say, I don't. I am very strategic about where my time and energy is spent. And the time that is not good for me, I find someone else. So building your team of support, right? We should have a team of support. And it doesn't need to be just business. It can be life too. So what that could look like is having a board of directors, having a mentor, having maybe someone specific to a certain area of your business, right? If I am doing my own accounting for my taxes, probably not a good thing. I have an accountant on my board of directors. I get to be that as a realtor for other people. Maybe it's an insurance person, a lawyer, like who's on your board of directors, because you're not going to try to learn their skill and do it for them. You need those people that are experts. And to that, there are a lot of other experts that you can hire as freelance or outsourcing, right? How can I pull in maybe a virtual assistant? How could I hire someone to just work a few hours in my business? Maybe it's helping me with content creation. Maybe it's simply hiring someone to go run errands for you. I have had someone do that for me too, because some of that is just a waste of time driving around. So figure out what is your cost per hour, and then really trying not to do tasks that are not paying you that. Could you pay someone $20 an hour to do that task? Well, then you shouldn't be doing it unless you really enjoy it. If it's something that fills up your cup, then I don't think you should delegate it. But if it's soul-sucking or you're kind of meh about it, then it's time to pull someone else in. So it could be board of directors, outsourcing, hiring. You can do trading. I trade with a lot of business owners, so we can trade our products and services of equal value. And then relying on tech and automating as much as you possibly can in your business. And if you're wondering after I share all of this, I don't even know where my time goes, or I don't even know what I would outsource tasks for, I have 2 assignments for you. The first one is a time audit. You need to sit down and write down what you do every single hour of your workday for a week or 2. Try to pick a normal-ish week and record what you're actually doing. It's going to give you so much clarity. Then you can do a task analysis. So write down the time that you spend doing it and then write down the task. And if it's a task that does not light you up, then we need to figure out how to get that off of your plate. And maybe it's not right now, but it's something to work towards in the future. So I call it a time and task audit. And that alone is going to give you so much clarity, because even if you were to outsource or bring someone into your business to support you, you'd actually know, 1, what that task is they're going to be doing, and 2, how long it took you to do it. That might give you some insight how long it will take them to do it, or maybe they can do it hopefully faster than you. So all of these things of doing the weekly focus, the daily focus, the designated days, and then delegating has allowed me to build a profitable, sustainable, and scalable business that I get to pull myself out of whenever I need to soak up moments with my family, with my friends, and even just for myself so that I can avoid burnout. And this is something that I have been adapting and evolving and figuring out what works for me in the season of life that I'm in. But for me, as a brand new mom of an 8-month-old baby who just launched a book, who's running multiple businesses, this is how I'm able to really focus and be efficient in working 4 days a week and not 7. Because the work will always come, but what are the most needle-moving tasks that we need to get done every single week so that we can feel okay checking out from our business and soaking up those moments with our family?
That's your quick hit of clarity and momentum for the week. If it sparks something, share it with a friend or tag us in your stories at Business Over Cocktails and or at Lauren Najar. We love seeing what resonates. Don't forget, Mondays are for full-length episodes with rich conversations, and Fridays are the Business Chaser episodes These are bite-sized insights pulled from our guests to keep you inspired and aligned throughout the week. Do you have a question or a takeaway? DM us at Business Over Cocktails. We just might feature it in a future episode. Cheers!